All right, let's go Sunday Night Football. Baltimore Ravens at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ravens on the road here, favored by 3 over the Jags. Jags are 8-5, a game ahead of both the Colts and Texans in the AFC South. Ravens sitting at 10-3 with the number 1 seed in sight, controlling their own destiny here in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, first thing is going to be what Trevor Lawrence looks like, another week removed from that high ankle sprain. Remember, we didn't expect him to play last week. He did play, and visibly he didn't look, hampered by it. On the other hand, he had 5 turnover-worthy plays, and it's like, that feels like a stretch to say that's a coincidence. I understand it's going up against Cleveland's defense that's very good and, going to force more mistakes than normal, but there were some plays in there that don't make a lot of sense unless you say there's an injury factoring in there.
So if you watched Rams-Ravens the other day, I got a question on Twitter about Matthew Stafford's grade because people were watching Stafford against the Ravens being like, he's doing amazing things with the football, which he did. He also missed a bunch of throws and then threw one into the end zone that probably should have ended the game. The point I wanted to try to make here, though, was Stafford against a very good Ravens defense made several tight window Staffordy throws, right? Like, I love watching good Matthew Stafford when he makes those incredible throws. That was how Lawrence had been playing for a few games prior to the injury. So think about up the difficulty level against the Ravens here, just like the Browns last week. You're up in the difficulty level. You're tighter window throws. There's going to be pressure. It's difficult. So you're up in the difficulty level. And Lawrence had that game a few weeks ago with like 5 or 6 big-time throws where it's like, man, it's almost like he's choosing the higher difficulty level. I'm going to throw a far hash deep out and put it right on my guy. Feels like that's the type of game that he needs to have. Similar throws that Stafford was making last week in Baltimore, minus some of the misses that Stafford had. Like Lawrence, I think, does have to play at an extremely high level. They're missing Christian Kirk, who I think has been just a really good, dependable outlet for them. They've done a nice job scheming it up for Christian Kirk through the years. Now, they had Parker Washington take a lot of the slot snaps last week. He had a really nice back shoulder touchdown, had a fumble in there as well. I'm a big Parker Washington fan, one of my sleeper receivers as a rookie. But I wonder how much that's going to just start adding up here for the Jags.
The other injury question or thing to monitor going into this game is Kyle Hamilton,
yes.
The Ravens safety / slot corner / matchup weapon thing. He was another one where when it happened, all the injury people were like, oh, that's bad, done for the season type of thing, right? And then it's like, no, actually, he might play this week. So
Jackson MCL?
Sprain, I think.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's top target is actually Evan Ingram, tight end, in terms of both targets and receptions. That's where he goes most often with the football. And Kyle Hamilton is the type of player that can take that away single-handedly. Like, he's that tight end eraser, but he's also the type of guy that kills all of the short stuff, like almost original Antoine Winfield like Evan Ingram's average depth of target or something is like 4 yards. So they give him the ball underneath, they let him run after the catch, they let him sort of get a lot of easy completions that then add up to big plays when he gets the ball in his hands. Hamilton's the kind of guy that can take that away immediately and sort of force this offense to be radically more one-dimensional than it wants to be and much more aggressive vertically. On the other hand, if he's not actually Kyle Hamilton, if he plays but he's not the same guy, or if he just doesn't play, like his backup might be Darryl Worley, who's a former bad cornerback turned who knows what he is as a safety at this point. But that's a big dynamic in this game. Like if Hamilton plays and is 100% or looks his self, that's a massive boost for the Ravens defense. If he isn't, it's a potential area to attack or to lean on for Jacksonville.
Roquan Smith, linebacker for the Ravens, also questionable at the moment. I don't think he's as injured as Hamilton, but we'll see what happens. Both guys were limited at practice as of Wednesday. I do wonder, so obviously both teams have injuries in the whole deal, but I wonder how much the Jags' offensive line injuries are going to start catching up too. Because look, I think Lawrence is healthy now, right? Like, is he just healthy? Is he okay? I don't even know if he's on the injury report. I can't believe high ankle sprains are just like a play next week type of deal, and then they're okay.
I mean, I don't think you're healthy.
Not healthy, but we said there was there was probably some throwing issues with
Yeah.
Lawrence, but maybe not some mobility issues. But the offensive line with Cam Robinson's already out and Walker Little at left tackle is questionable, and they had to get to Blake Nance at a guard playing tackle trying to cover.
After Ezra Cleveland, a guard playing tackle.
Ezra Cleveland. I mean, so they're going through. I wonder how much. So Kyle Hamilton's a big injury for the Ravens, but I think the Jags, their issues might starting to catch up to them.
Yep.
The other, from a narrative perspective for Jacksonville, all season we've been saying, okay, they, prove that you could beat good teams. That's what I've been asking for. They beat Buffalo earlier in the year. They got beat up pretty bad by the 49ers. I think we could look at that Texans win in Week 12 and say that's a good win against a tough Texans team that already beat you. But they lost to Cincinnati, which that was supposed to be their next big test.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Joe Burrow Cincinnati, it was Jake Browning Cincinnati. And they let Jake Browning, who's good now, he's good, but they let him complete over 80% of his passes. They let Joe Flacco pick them apart last week with busted coverages and the whole thing. The pass coverage is falling apart. I think this is it's trending in the wrong direction, I think, for the Jags right here.
Yeah, they missed Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell hasn't played well even when he's been on the field. Like, his career is ridiculous. It's been like 50 grade, 88 grade, 50 grade again. He's gone from like not good, all pro, not good is the sequence of his career so far. It's a bizarre game in terms of how many people are injured at key positions and are relevant to how this goes. The one-on-one matchup that could be fun to watch is Josh Allen, the edge rusher, and Jacksonville's basically primary/only source of pass rush, going up against Ronnie Stanley, who theoretically is one of the best pass blocking tackles in the game, not having his best season. So, normally if this was the matchup, you would say Stanley beats Josh Allen in this one-on-one matchup. This year, though, Allen's having a career year, Stanley's having a down year. It's much more in favor of Josh Allen, I think, than it would be normally.
One other matchup to watch, I always highlight the difficulty that linebackers have against the Ravens. Linebackers also have that similar difficulty against the Shanahan schemes. I mentioned before the Niners game when they got whooped that Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd having excellent seasons, they're going to need them to play well. They did not play well against the Niners. Kind of similar thing here with the Ravens. Can those guys make some plays? I don't know, man. I don't like the way the Jags are trending. So Ravens favored by 3 here in Jacksonville. It's going to be electric on Sunday Night Football. It's Jags Ravens. It's a great time to retweet highlights of Jimmy Smith going 15 catches for 291 against the 2000 Ravens.
191, right?
291.
291?
He had 291 receiving yards. Yes. Trust me on this.
Okay. Oh, against the
Ravens
across 2 games.
No, in one game.
I thought it was 191 in that one game.
No, 15 catches for 291 yards against the 2000 Ravens.
Yeah.
Look, Jimmy Smith game logs.
Yeah, all
right. Make your pick.
I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I'm also gonna take the Ravens. Are we being too harsh on the Jags?
No, I mean, I think they've fallen like the Lions. They have fallen off. They
15.
Don't look the
you
same.
Just watched this game. 15 catches, 291, 3 touchdowns, targeted 21 times, in a 39-36 loss against the 2000 Ravens. The Jags got like 10% of the points against the Ravens that year in that game,
and a ton of the yardage.
Yeah,
like that was
before they were really the 2000 Ravens.
Yeah,
I'll also take Baltimore to cover the 3 here in Jacksonville. Or will I? Yeah, give me Baltimore.